Hey besties, you're welcome to my story time. I don't know if I should say I was scammed because in retrospect, it was just desperation that pushed me into losing 250,000 naira. In fact, not just into losing, into dashing, because that's literally what happened. 250,000 naira. So how did this story begin? I needed to pay a balance of my tuition fee for me to proceed to my second year. And of course, as you know, universities in the UK don't play about their money. When they want their money, they literally want their money. And I had envisaged every single thing. So what did I do? I initiated a Form A payment months before the deadline, like about 5 months before the deadline, only for me to make a very big mistake that I don't want any of you to make. Instead of me to make use of the head office, I used a branch. So let me explain. When you are initiating a Form A transaction, they would ask you what branch of the bank you want to initiate with. And then I used Fidelity Bank. Instead of me to click on head office, I clicked on the branch the account was opened in. So besties, if you are initiating a transaction, ensure to click on head office. It is always head office. I waited about 2 months for that transaction. Then when I got information and realized that I was just wasting my time, I had to start all over again because information is literally power. So now, when I decided to start another transaction, as at that time it was already getting close to my deadline, and I reached out to someone that, see, I really don't know what to do, I have to start all over again. And the person was like, oh, I have a Form A plug. Now this is not me bashing any Form A plug, but just be careful out there. Just be careful. Now bear in mind that this person that I reached out to had the best intentions. Like, I do not fault the person at all because the person just wanted to help me, and this person gave me their plug. Because the person's plug was not in Fidelity Bank, I had to change bank so that it would align with the person's plug's bank. I'm not going to be mentioning the bank's name simply because even though it really affected me as at then, right now it is literally story time and I see no reason to mention the bank because I'm over that. So I had to start afresh with this person. As we started the transaction, the person said, oh, your fee is 250,000 naira. I'm like, oh? For what? The fee is to fast track the Form A. Ordinarily, that should not even be happening. Like, there should be no fast track because when you initiate your Form A transaction, it should just go smoothly. But the issue is that banks kept delaying these transactions. Instead of Form A transactions to be processed expeditiously, they kept delaying and delaying and delaying. And I had my deadline to consider, and at that point I really did not care. I just needed my Form A to go through. Desperation. So now when the person said 250k, I'm like, never, done, I'm not doing this, because it was so ridiculous. I reached out to people like, please, who has a plug, who has a plug? Guess what? Plugs were mentioning 400,000 naira, 500k. No kidding, like, I'm not even kidding. I'm like, for what? You people just want to make life very unbearable for us because you know we are in the UK and you feel we have the money, and of course you feel, okay, now if you don't want to pay, then you go and pay in pounds or wait for the Form A transaction to pull through. So I did not get any better offer outside. I had to go back to him, and I reached out to him. I'm like, see, that 250k is outrageous. And he was like, no, it's not. That the 250k is for the Form A to go through in less than 2 weeks. Besties, people's Form A were lasting for 3 months, 4 months, and someone said in 2 weeks 250k. I'm like, okay. But I was still like, please, that 250k is a lot of money. Like, I really cannot afford that. And he was like, okay, I can charge 150k, but if I charge you 150k, you have to wait for like 1 to 2 months. At that point, I just felt if I have to pay, then it's for it to be fast tracked. And if I have to wait for 1 to 2 months, then it's as good as me waiting for 3 to 4 months. So if I can, let me just pay the money for it to be done in 2 weeks, so I have rest of mind, because I know how school is and I don't want them to be stressing me, because I am literally just a baby girl. And really, even this Form A matter, all this money matter, I'm not cut out for that lifestyle, I swear. Like, I literally just want to be one year oga, like just stay, let someone be taking care of all these issues. But here I am doing all the hard work. So besties, I just had to, think about it, and I felt it was more profitable for me to put in the extra 100k and get my Form A done. So guess what, besties? I paid in a 250k and everything was going as planned. This person was actually so nice. He was even giving me updates, like frequently communicating with me, which is something that I value so much. But then, as the communication progressed, I got to realize that this person was not working in the bank that they were initiating the Form A in. I'm like, how? And when I confronted him, he was like, oh, he told me. I'm like, no, you didn't tell me. He said he told me. I said, there is absolutely no way I'll be paying 250 grand to somebody that does not work in that bank anymore. Why am I paying you? So it was as at that point I realized that, okay, I paid to somebody that paid to somebody, and you know how these things go. I felt really pissed off because I thought it was a direct transaction, but apparently it was not in any way, and it was already giving me scammer vibes. But I trusted the person that referred this person to me, and I just let that go. By the way I see money, I'm not very scared to hold money so tightly, because money comes, money goes. I'm not a thief. I don't scam people. So if you want to scam me, scam. Whatever you see, your head should carry it. That's literally the way I live my life. So I'm like, you will not be scamming me. So that's that. I let that go. And we continued. He said 2 weeks. 2 weeks passed. I didn't hear anything. I'm like, bros, what is going on? Like, no, don't worry, it's still on that way. Don't worry, I'm still working on it. They are still working on it. They are still working. I said, no, bros, no. This is not what you told me. You told me 2 weeks. What is they are still working on that? I don't understand. He said, don't worry. And he has such a sweet mouth. He just calm me down. I say, okay, mistake. 3rd week, I say, Oga, what is going on? Oga, he started speaking English. And ironically, that period, Nigeria was going through a lot of lots of turmoil and drama was going on in Nigeria. So he had viable excuses. He kept using Nigeria as an excuse. He would say, yes, now, are you not hearing the news? There is now naira scarcity. And I was wondering, what concerns naira scarcity and this Form A that are trying to fast track for me? What's the relationship like? The thing did not correlate. It did not make sense. It did not, it did not merge. I say, he would just be speaking English and be saying, I see what's going on. At that point, I'm like, this guy, are you taking me for granted? Like, are you literally taking me for granted? 3rd week, 4th week, nothing. At that point, I think at that point, I'm like, Ada, have you been scammed? But the thing about scam is, what I know as scam is that you scam somebody, and when people scam you of money, you don't even hear from them anymore. That's what my mind understands as scam. But I'm like, how can it be scam when you are still communicating with me? You are posting WhatsApp status. I'm seeing you, you are seeing me. You're even commenting. I'll post status. You tell me, fine girl. And you're here. God. I'm like, no, it cannot be scam. It's not scam. And even till date, I still don't believe it is scam. And I will explain why. So, it's not scam. 1 month passed. A month plus. 2 months, nothing. Same old story. Now, If it's other people, guess what? They would have caused a huge drama. But I did not. And I think that's one thing that is so peculiar to me. Most times when people are angry or when people are expressing anger, that's not when I express anger. Me, I don't. When there is big issue, I actually don't express anger. It is that minute thing that is now like the icing on top that when I spark, you now wonder, but I've been doing many things. This girl has not been talking. Well, it's because your own is now too much. 2 months passed. I'm laughing now, but then it was not even a laughing matter. 2 months passed and nothing. He was still communicating with me, still doing all that. And I was really pissed. So I just told him, like, I was really pissed. And one thing is, when I'm really pissed, if I open my mouth, if I open my mouth when I am upset, it's not good. And I know that. And that's the reason why in every case when I am angry with somebody or I have reached my boiling point, I say nothing. And I realized that each time he will post online, it will just provoke me. Like, I will just feel this anger in me. And I had talked to him calmly, and it was so annoying that he kept giving me stories upon story. He would share with me screenshots, conversations with the people that are supposedly working on it. And at that point, I was feeling so stupid because I'm like, I should have just paid him 150k at the very least. At least if I had paid 150k, I would understand. So I was feeling really upset, and I talk in a civil manner, and it was just the same thing. It was really weighing on me. At that point, I just said, you know what, Ada, you've just literally been scammed of 250k. Just take it like someone robbed you of that money. I know it hurts you, but just let it go. And I just deleted his number, and that was it. I moved on. Remember, my time was still counting. By the way, the Form A had already been initiated 2 months now. Now, in 2.5 months, I got a message from him. I had deleted his number, but of course, when he sent me a message, I saw the chat history, so I knew who I was talking to. And he was like, "Hi Ada, I've stopped seeing your WhatsApp status." Hey, I don't look for trouble, oh. I really, God, you know, like, people just be testing me, even when I'm like, try Jesus, don't try me, because, hey, he has not been seeing me. Nah, am I angry? I should not be angry now. It's not his fault. Even now that I'm remembering it, I say it's not his fault. It's the people. He's even angry with them. Is this, is that, is that. I don't even know if I should laugh or I should cry. And when he sent that was when the anger, I'm like, you are. Your head is not correct. Like, you have the audacity. Like I just told him clearly. You have the audacity to tell me you are going to be seeing my what? I just went, I finished him, literally. And he still kept apologizing. And I think that's the point. Like, when people apologize, it's like, I think it literally just weakens me, because it feels like, oh, why are you not still talking? I've said I'm sorry now. I'm sorry now. Why are you angry? But no. Apology when nothing has changed is just manipulation. And people do it a lot. You will do something very silly and you say I'm sorry, because I'm sorry is supposed to be like a magic wand that once you wave it, everything should be alright. It doesn't work that way, baby. And I told him, I hear you, but the point is, I feel so disappointed that I paid in that much money and it has just gone as a waste. Now, other people would have said, oh yeah, give me my money, she did not do my work. But the funny thing is that, I don't know, I really didn't say that. Like, mine is just, let this Form A just get sorted out. Like, I'm stressed out. And I really don't have much energy for stress. Even Talking about it now, I already feel stressed. Jesus, I don't have energy for stress at all. At that point, school started sending me emails that you've not paid your bill, your tuition fee. And it was just like, I was praying. I would call my friend, I would just cry to her because I was tired. Like, I don't know how to handle. Okay, my friend would say I know how to handle this kind of stress, because despite the fact that I was stressed like that, I was still showing up everywhere. I was still releasing YouTube videos regularly. I was still being happy. No one knew what was going on internally, but I was a wreck. Like, I would literally be crying because I was scared. And if you've ever been threatened by school, you will know what I'm talking about, because when they are sending their emails, they will now be adding threats. They'll be adding, your visa is like, they are literally telling you your visa is at stake. And I'm like, God, I need to enter year 2. If I don't enter year 2, I have wasted all. I've just wasted my time to come here. Everything is a waste. And I kept praying, like, God, you did not bring me here just to bring me here. Like, you can't leave your baby girl stranded. It's not possible. Like, why you not bring me here? And it was just taking a toll on me. I got emails. Even some emails said stop attending classes because I was just entering my year 2. It was so turbulent. Like, literally thinking about it. In fact, about this, my tuition fee and how I have been able to navigate finances, I need another video on that. But right now, I don't think I am ready to share about it. Maybe when I feel like, because that's a very huge personal pain of mine, and maybe later. But for now, it's about Form A, not about that, because it was really scary, and this thing just kept happening. I'm like, oh my God, what should I do? I really did not know what to do. I just kept praying. 3rd month entered, nothing had happened. I still kept praying. Then at that point, I knew that it was going to run its natural course. So at that point, I knew that I had wasted the 250k, because the same 100 days that I had to wait is what I'm literally waiting for. And that was it. Now, at that point, we reached the 100 days. In short, I lost count. I stopped counting. I just know that I was entering my 4th month of the Form A. And that week, school started disturbing me. In fact, I got a call from school. Like, I got a phone call. These people literally threatened me. They told me if that money is not in their account by 12 p.m. of the next day, they now talked about your visa will be, they just spoke the English, which literally means my visa will be revoked. At that point, I'm like, Jesus, like, what am I going to do? I'm like, what? So I'm like, I was literally saying, Jesus, you know I don't like stress. The way I pray sometimes, it feels like me and God, we have such an amazing relationship that the way I pray, it feels like I'm literally holding God by his because at that point I'm like, God, you just have to come through for me. Like, if you don't, who will? Like, you can't leave me and my father. Like, you can't abandon me. And I felt like, and I prayed, and I literally prayed. And at that point, someone just told me, you know what, babe? For school to have given you that ultimatum, they are not joking, because the exam board is sitting on results, and if you've not paid by 12 p.m. that next day, that's it for you. At that point, I just called the person that had my money, because my Form A was not initiated with my account. I don't have an account with the plug's account, so I had to use someone's account. And also, I had some of my personal issues with BVN, so I just literally had to use someone's account. So I reached out to the person. I'm like, please just send me back my money. Like, send me back the money I've put for Form A. Let me pay this in pounds. Now, bear in mind that I was paying a huge sum of money. So if I was paying it in pounds, at that point, I was going to be needing about £4,000 extra to complete my Form A money. Like, where would I get £4,000 in one day, like in one night? Where? It was ridiculous. But I'm so grateful that God has blessed me with the gift of people, because that money came out. It literally came out. And at that point, I'm like, just send me my money so I'll complete it and send to school in pounds. Then guess how God came through for me? I told the person, transfer all the money to me. But apparently, the person had a limit on their account. And so they needed to go to the bank to make the transaction. Now, I was thinking the person was going to the bank to transfer the money to me, not knowing that the person went to the bank to increase their limit so that they can transfer it anytime. And at that point, I'm like, I told you to go to the bank to transfer the money. Like, give me my money. Like, just give me my money. Let me just pay this thing. And at that point, the person just told me, wait, Ada, I just got an email. I'm like, what? But guess what? My Form A got debited that night. This is me crying, and literally, like, I just wanted to cry to sleep because I've lost money, I've lost everything, and my Form A got debited that night. I've never, I just sat down on the floor. Like, I could not even thank God. Like, I was in so much shock. Like, oh my God, you came through. Like, I was so happy. Like, I could not even say thank you, Jesus. Like, I just was crying. And I'm like, Ada, why are you crying? Why are you crying? It's over. I was crying because it's only God that could have done the miracle that I told somebody, give me my money, and the person heard another thing. Because this is someone that I trust, definitely, but God just wanted to come true. Because if this person had sent me back my money, I would not have gotten debited because there will be no money for them to debit. And that's how it just happened. Thankfully, immediately I reached out to the person or the people that came through for me, and I'm like, I don't need your money anymore. And immediately school confirmed, and that's how the story went. Now, there are some parts I omitted in all of these things. Before the Form A actually got debited, when it reached remember I said it got debited like after 100 days. When it was like 2.5 months in, I got a notification saying that my Form A was cancelled. I'm like, why? They said I did not put in a document that I was supposed to put in. I'm like, how? Immediately I reached out to the plug that I had cussed out, and I'm like, what is going on? So it's bad enough that you did not do my transaction, then now they are telling me my Form A would be cancelled because of a document that I actually put. So when I reached out to him, he reached out to his people and they amended that. So he was actually helpful in that aspect, because after the amendment, he was like, okay, you see, he's trying, he's doing something, he's doing story. Then it still took that long for it to get debited. So the point is, although he did not do absolutely anything in fast tracking my Form A, when there was an issue, he came through that time. Now, when my Form A eventually got processed, he wanted to take the glory, and he was like, oh, you see, he was actually working. I'm like, are you serious? What were you working? Then my Form A took close to 3.5 months for it to be processed, and I should clap for you because there was an issue that was of no fault of mine. Like, it just made no sense. And at that point, I'm like, you know what, just deuces. Guess what? The funny thing is, I needed to initiate another Form A, and this same person was like, Ada, okay now, don't worry, this time it's not going to be as much as 250k. How much can you afford? I'm like, so wait, you would literally charge me again? Like, you would charge me? You think I'll use my clear eye to pay you money? Like, what jazz did you put on? I said, okay, do the transaction now for free. Do it, it's for free. And he was like, no, it's not going to be for free. At the end of the day, I was like, Ada, why are you still talking to this person in the first place? Like, you should have blocked him like long ago. But it was hard for me to like just say, you know what, you're just a scammer, you're a very nonsense person, blocked, cancelled. So yes, that's just how it ended. So now the moral lesson of this story is, see, most times when you want to use all of these so-called plugs, please be careful. A lot of them are not even plugs. A lot of them know nothing about the banking system, nothing. They just have someone that works in the bank. And at the end of the day, you still have to wait that normal time. If I had known, that money would have been used to do a better thing. Although I've told myself, you know what, Ada, you're not going to beat yourself up because you did the best thing you could do with the available information you had. You were desperate. You needed to get this thing sorted out. And it's not like the 250k is from your personal money. No, it was from the money designated for your tuition fee. It's just that, of course, that money could have paid more fees instead of me literally dashing it to somebody. So I don't know if I got scammed or I just dashed it out. I don't want to use any negative word on myself like, okay, oh, maybe you were actually foolish, maybe you trusted too much, because I don't believe in being hard and unkind to myself at all. People make mistakes, and I made a mistake by trusting him. I made a mistake by even trying to fast track all of these things, because at the end of the day, I still ended up waiting even longer than I would have. So that is besties about my Form A story. Let me know your comment on this video. It's a long one. I didn't even know it would be this long, but it is what it is. I want to hear your opinions on everything I've mentioned, and I've dropped a playlist where I talked about every single thing about Form A, from the documents you need to the tips like this that you should ensure to adhere to, and all of those juicy stuff about the Form A. If you're watching me for the first time, please stay subscribed to my channel. Support me by liking. My name is Ada, and I'm also known as Thelegalpepper, and I'm going to be seeing you in my next one. Bye guys.